Welcome to bonus topic 14. This is a series of short videos focusing on specific topics related to meditation and or the internal map of reality. Tonight's session is going to be going into something that I'm working on called three-body centering. There is a basic introduction to three-body centering, and I'll put a link to that general overview. I'll put that link in the description. But tonight we're going to drill in further and to look at how we can use the three-body centering approach for resetting or restoring our health. It's not too unusual for people to say that they suddenly got ill and, it just didn't seem to get better. Like there was a downhill in their overall health. And sometimes this happens later in your life, but sometimes it can happen at a very young age that something happens, either an accident or something traumatic or something significant enough, right? It could be lifestyle generated, that you are not recovering and you need to do something more dramatic in order for you to fully recover. So this is what this is all about. What do we do if we need to go into a full body restoration? Okay, so let's just go here. So the topics or the subtopics that I'll be covering, we'll just look at, again, just a quick description of what three-body centering is. We'll talk about what's essential for life, and there is another bonus topic that I go further into the essentials for life, and perhaps I'll put that link in the description as well. But tonight I'll just briefly touch on it, because it is the core to understanding why we don't automatically restore our health to our normal peak level. What prevents us? Well, if we're not getting the essentials, then we're not going to be able to restore. So then the third little subtopic is, what do we need to restore? What are the tools for restoration? And then I'll look at the overall picture. So three-body centering is a concept that comes from a lot of different disciplines. And if you just go online and search for three-body health, three-body centering, three-body meditation, you'll get reams and reams of information. And when I was preparing this presentation, I did notice that there are people talking about 5 bodies and people talking about 8 bodies and 6 bodies. I'm not concerned about, I would call that a refinement of the 3 bodies. If you drill into this deep enough, you'll find that if you're looking at the energy body, there are levels within there. Same thing with the physical body. There's levels within that. And of course, the spiritual body, there's levels there. So I'm just taking it at a very, very high level, crunching way up and looking at the energy body, the physical body, and the spiritual body. And they interact. If your energy body or your energy system is depleted, it's going to affect the other 2 bodies. Conversely, you can use your energy body to help heal and center the other 2. And we'll be talking about that as we go on. And the physical body, I like to say the physical body is what bleeds. You can actually, it hurts. It's the part of you that actually has fluid that you can see and touch and so on. And the spiritual body is a bit of a mystery, and that's the magical part of this, right? All 3 bodies have consciousness, and I think that's derived from the spirit. The spirit puts a consciousness into your energy body and into your physical body. It's the part that enlivens the whole system. So if we drill down a bit deeper, we'll see that the energy body it can be used for cleansing. And a lot of the disciplines I studied took an alchemical approach to taking the energy that we receive freely from our environment, and we naturally will refine it, purify it, and then give it back out. So part of what we do, much like the way plants do, we receive energy from our environment, and we naturally want to enhance that energy and give it back. That's just the way we are built. And some of the concepts in there, something that you may be familiar with, is yin-yang balance. The idea that there is a soft and a hard energy, and they work together. Okay, they need to be in balance. And part of the thing with energy is kind of counterintuitive in the sense that in order to maximize the amount of energy you have, you need to not waste it. You need to be still. So cultivating stillness preserves your energy and focuses it like a laser. So stillness is very, very important, and that kind of ties into the meditative component. So you receive both the yin and yang energy from nature, and when you calm it, when you still it, it becomes focused and cleansed. And I like to talk about this energy, this yin-yang energy that we are balancing and cleansing within our body, is that it has a consciousness. It is consciously aware, okay? And when you become a little bit more attentive to yourself, you will feel this energy inside of you, and it knows what to do. It's not that you know what to do. It is definitely what I like to refer to as a self-regulating. We are a self-regulating, self-healing, self-replicating system. We do not need anything else. Just the way we are, we will self-heal. We will self-replicate. Okay, and we will self-adjust. There is nothing we have to add. In fact, part of the cleansing process of cleaning your energy up and centering it is to eliminate distractions, to slow down, and to get into, again, this state of stillness. So going further, we can talk about our physical body. And again, as I mentioned earlier, it's the one that bleeds. So the physical body needs exercise. And one thing that you don't want to do if you're not feeling well, if you need to restore, you need to be able to move. You need to keep moving. So the exercise form that I've been practicing my whole life is something called Tai Chi. Okay, T-A-I-C-H-I. That's the way I spell it. And Tai Chi, Tai meaning peace, Chi meaning energy. How to slow and calm down the energy. But it's not your energy. It's the energy flowing through you. You have it just for a temporal period of time. Surprisingly enough, a key part of balancing the physical body is your diet. And this becomes very, very important. And we're going to touch on this specifically, how your diet will affect your overall restoration or your ability to restore. So centering, exercise, and balance. The physical body is, I like to think of it as a suspended pendulum or a mandala that's suspended in midair, balanced perfectly. And any part of that hanging suspended mandala, if it moves, the whole extra part of it will move. So your physical body is very, very important. Now, I use Tai Chi, but there's something else that I use and have been studying. It's called Alexander Technique. And why is that important? Because both Tai Chi and Alexander Technique are not so much preoccupied with building muscle. I know this is the Western approach to exercise. You're thinking of building muscle or you're thinking of losing weight, but actually what you want to think about is how to relax, open up, and create and increase mobility. Because as you age, you will decrease in your mobility. We want to slow that down and we want to increase it. So Alexander Technique Tai Chi, well, yoga and other things like that. They all want to increase your mobility. So the third and final body that we're dealing with here is the spirit body. I like to say the spirit body is the ability to understand, to come to harmony, to come to an agreement about your reality at this time. And one of the things that we use, or I use for spirit body, is understanding of your internal map of reality. Your internal map of reality is your interface to the rest of the world. How are you programming yourself? It's your personal program to be able to function in this reality. And one of the things that I've seen, and it's part of my journey, is just acceptance. The first thing that we have to do is accept the reality that we have. If you don't accept what you have, then you can't change it. And through acceptance, the fertilizer is love. Really learning to love yourself, your environment, other people, and everything that you do. If you put this acceptance and love into everything you do, it will grow, it will transcend. So your spiritual body is what will transcend, take you above your immediate environment. In a sense, I like to think that the spirit body is the doorway to the unknown. And this can be scary, I know. And this is what normally, I think, prevents people from progressing. It's what stopped me, is the fear of the unknown. And learning to embrace the unknown, because in the unknown becomes the next new known thing. So you need to go into the unknown in order to create new and to regenerate and to revive. So embracing the unknown, transcending it, is through the spirit body. And the technique that I use there is, of course, the internal map of reality and meditation. So how does this work? So in order for you to restore, you need to have the essentials. So what are the essentials? So you look here, you'll see that there are plants that give off carbon dioxide, and we need the plants that take in carbon dioxide and output oxygen. We need oxygen in order to live. Without oxygen, we die within minutes. This is something we need on a constant moment-to-moment basis. We need a constant supply of oxygen. And we get that from the plants. So the plants give us oxygen, and every time we breathe out carbon dioxide, which feeds the plants. So this is the symbiotic relationship between animals and plants, and we'll be talking about that in a bit, that the two major life forms on the planet are plants, plant-based, right, which are made of cellulose, and animal-based, which are made of glucose, which is made of collagen. So the nutrients and water, although important, it turns out that water is not the most important thing. Water is important, and you need water within, I think it's 3 days. If you don't have fresh water, you perish. But that's a big difference from minutes. Air, you need it on a minute-to-minute basis. Water, you need, at least within 2 to 3 days. And nutrients in the form of some kind of food, well, we can go weeks and months without any nutrients. So our basic essential system is self-contained with just air. All we need is the output from plants, the oxygen, and we're good to go. We can live on air alone. In some cultures, the air is called prana. And oxygen, as you may or may not know, oxygen O2 is one of the most explosive elements in the periodic table. It's very explosive. Pure oxygen will, explode. And it's interesting that hydrogen and oxygen are made of the two very, very explosive gases. Hydrogen is extremely explosive, and also it's energy, prana, chi, energy in the air. So if we breathe in the air, that's all we need. So one of the approaches for reestablishing your health is to just live on air for a period of time. We can do that without any water or nutrition for quite a bit of time. I normally don't fast longer than 1 or 2 days without water, but you can easily go 12 hours or part of your day with only air. And this thing called intermittent fasting is one way to sort of get into it. Take a part of the day, even if it's just 2 or 3 hours, and put nothing into your body but air, good quality air. So the fourth piece there in terms of essential is purpose. And what they have found is, although water and nutrient is important, something that we tend to overlook, your purpose, your goal, it becomes critical, super, super important. So air is number one. Water and nutrients are a distant second and third. But one that I think we need to look at is you need to have that sense of purpose. And people who lose that quite often will suddenly perish. Okay, so why do we need to restore? What gets us into the situation where we lose our state of health? It could be through pollution, and it could be pollution through your diet. Very, very poor diets over a long period of time can get us to a point where we become very ill. Part of the pollution and diet issue is maybe our weight, but there's lots of studies that show that the problems that we have in our health in North America is directly related to our diet. Okay? And other cultures don't have the levels of diabetes and heart disease and cancers because they eat a different diet. So the first thing to look at is, is it something that's polluting you, that's preventing you from becoming fully restored after you get ill, or is it something in your diet? The other common area is you just basically have an injury or some trauma. One thing that happened to me was that I got food poisoning, and that's what triggered a whole series of things. So it could be something like an injury or food poisoning or something that happens to you out of your control, but then your body just doesn't recover from it. Another factor is that as we age, our body is less resilient. Okay? But something I've found here is that tied to that is your belief about the body. What you believe about your body and about your reality is almost overrides your chronological age. And this has been studied quite a bit. I don't have any references here, but I can find some for you that show that people as they age can actually turn the clock back by their belief about their ability to do. And quite often people will use age to say, well, I can't do that because of my age. Don't restrict yourself. So your beliefs about yourself and your aging can, in fact, take you to the point where you need to restore. And this leads us to the fourth area, is self-development. If you have something that you need to correct within your spiritual realm, within your mind, right, within your self-awareness, self-identity, it will trigger healing and the need to restore in your other two bodies. So repairing the spirit also requires that your energy system and your physical system adjust. And a lot of people that go into, say, retreat workshops for self-development and find that it's very much tied to the physical and to the energy system. But what are the tools we have? So the basic tools that I work with and that I'm willing to share is an understanding of meditation. And my approach to meditation is pretty straightforward and not really embedded into any real religion aspect, although a lot of people do tie their meditation into a religion, and that's fine. I just haven't. When I originally learned different meditation approaches, it was mainly for self-improvement and healing. But it doesn't matter how you get to the mountaintop as long as you are going there. As they say, all roads lead to the mountaintop. So meditation, understanding meditation practices, and we have videos on that. Fasting and cleansing is a very major way. In order to allow the body to restore, you have to cleanse it. You have to fast. You have to remove the toxins. And the three types of fasts that I can talk about and have experienced is one is the intermittent fasts, which is something you take a portion of your day, say from the time you wake up in the morning to the time that you have your first dinner, you take that as a fast. Or you can reverse, you can say, well, I'm not going to eat from supper time, say it's 7 o'clock. I'm not going to eat from 7 o'clock till 7 o'clock at night, from 7 o'clock in the morning. So you go from 7 at night, 7 p.m., all the way to 7. So that's 12 hours of not taking in any fluids or any foods, okay, or minimal fluids. Okay, so that fasting, if you do that on a regular basis, has a tremendous effect, and I'll reference that later. Something of going into kurtosis, your body goes into a healing mode. Your body will not heal. No, let me rephrase that. Your body heals far more effectively when it is not eating, when it is not digesting food. So you're either digesting food or your body goes into self-healing. So the digesting food turns out to be a major, major thing. So using fasting, either intermittent fasting, the second form of fasting is you fast for a day or longer on just water. So just a water fast, okay? And this has the effect of turning off the body's activities associated with eating. When you do that, your body switches into a cleansing mode. So fasting is a way of triggering the fasting mode. And then the third approach is that you can keep the body in a fasting mode by adopting a low carbohydrate diet, much like, say, the keto diet, where you have a low carb diet. And what that does is that will keep you in a kurtosis, keep you in the healing mode. Okay, so we can talk about that later. The third tool is restorative exercises, and I refer to Tai Chi and Alexander technique as forms of restorative. They are really not there to necessarily build muscle per se or do anything other than to restore you back to your normal health and balance. And then the fourth tool is understanding the internal map of reality. And there are a series of videos, and this is part of it, for dealing with understanding your internal map and how important it is that everything that you do and everything that you think about is in some way tied into the internal map of reality that you have been rigorously creating and maintaining since your birth. So here's the whole picture. So if you are in a situation where you have lost your normal standard of health, where your health is deteriorating and it is not recovering, so you can't recover from some form of illness, doesn't matter what it is. Now, this whole picture approach does not exclude doctor. You're still working with your doctor or your practitioner of health, whoever you're working with. You go and get that. But this is in addition to whatever else you may be doing, okay? This is not a replacement for medical. In fact, this is not medical advice. This is holistic self-preparedness and self-healing advice. So the very first thing that I do personally, and I recommend anyone do, is that if things aren't working right, stop eating. fast for at least a day or two until you know what's going on, and just drink, clean water. And you can see here the benefits of fasting are well documented. When you fast, the body then has time to go into autophagy, which is the repairing mode. And this is amazing. So do your own work on the benefits of fasting. But the very first thing that you may want to do is, whatever the problem is, initially stop fasting. The second thing that you can do immediately is to meditate and to pull in all of your various meditative applications and meditate. Why do you want to meditate? When you meditate, you focus the body's energy, you focus your spiritual energy, you bring everything to a fine focus, and you stop wasting energy. So if you're not healing properly, you need all the energy that's available to you. And what the meditative periods and applications will do is will help you focus it. And the third thing is your cellular health. And this ties into detoxing and cleansing. This is a longer term thing. And so what you really want to do, you want to stay in autophagy for as long as you can. Okay? And you do that by fasting and by following the diet that I recommend. It's a keto diet, following that until your health returns. Okay? Then when your health returns, then you can, eat just about anything that's around here. What I find interesting is our bodies are designed to eat just about anything. We can, I think of the movie Back from the Future, where they had the professor had the car that would take him off into the space, but it required nuclear power. At the end of the movie, he comes back, and he's converted the car to be able to take anything. So he's throwing cans and banana peelings into the thing. So you can basically put anything into your system, and your body will eat it. But that's only if you are in good shape. When you are not in good shape, when you need to heal, then you need to be very careful that the things you eat are things that the body can quickly digest and don't require extra work. This then ties us into a integrated daily routine, which is unique to you. There are some suggestions that you can do, but this ties into your understanding of your self-talk, your internal map, how that works, your diet, your meditative applications that you're doing. Tying these all together is what you will need to do in order to promote what I call the overall three bodies centering, in order to reset or retool the body. So just to wrap it up, the things that I am willing to and can share with you is my knowledge of fasting and diet. And of course, there's reams of information available, and you can consult with your own practitioners on that. But fasting and diet, very, very powerful. Tai Chi and Alexander technique. I've been working with Tai Chi for many, 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 many decades, my whole life, and Alexander technique for many, many decades as well. So using that as a way of enhancing your body. Overall meditation technology, very, very important. And I do give courses on that. Don't really have any online courses. These are mainly meant for in-person. So this really, I'm looking forward to running workshops where people can come for a weekend and they can do the fasting, they can do the Tai Chi and Alexander technique, they can practice their meditation techniques, and then using the understanding of the eternal map of how things work. How do you work inside? What makes your... I sometimes call the spirit is whatever you think you are doing, whatever you think you're doing. Whatever you think you are doing, whatever you think you are doing. So this internal map is what drives that. So that's a quick peek at three body centering, particularly looking at how to get into restorative health. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this material. And I will be making more videos on the three body centering and drilling into each of the components a little bit more detail. If you have any questions, please reach out and contact me. And I hope you found this presentation of use.